Hello everyone and welcome to Autocrat. This is episode 101, 101, 101.
CI.
Yeah.
And other numbers.
Exactly. I would say it in binary code, but I don't know how to say that in binary code. Anyway.
I'm not gonna bother with that.
Anyway, it is titled Boy Meets Girl, Boy Steals Girl. We have finally arrived in the Roman kingdom. Let's see how Romulus gets on now that he has created a new kingdom.
Yeah. Judging by the title, it'll probably be fine, right?
I'm sure it will be.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
The first thing Romulus did after the famous foundation was to build up the fortification of the Palatine Hill where he had been brought up.
Alright.
He sacrificed in Alban style to most gods, but in Greek style to Hercules as Evander had introduced to the region.
Yeah, so in Evander's tradition, he sacrificed to him in the Greek way.
Okay. There is a whole story about Hercules and Evander and Livy that we do not need to go into here.
Yeah, I made an executive decision, let's move on.
He thereby apparently showed respect for a mortal who had become a god, and Livy essentially tells us to keep this in mind.
Yeah, he does a gigantic wink to the camera while he does so.
He then brought all of his new Roman subjects together and passed out laws. If he had not done so, Rome could not have become a single political entity. In Romulus's mind, his new subjects were a raucous gaggle.
Glowing endorsement there.
Clearly. However, because of this, he thought he needed some external symbols to owe them and keep them in line. Among others, he created the office of lictor, of which there were 12. They were the attendants of the king.
Nice.
Livy has suspicion that this came over from the Etruscans, as the practice of a toga with a purple border and the idea of a throne came from them.
Okay, we're just nicking things from the Etruscans.
I can say Etruscans, but I can't say suspects.
I know. Roll the clip proving that.
Livy suspects.
Just say thinks.
There were 12 of them in Etruria because there were 12 Etrurian cities which came together to elect a monarch.
Gasp, we talked about this when I banged on about the Etruscans for ages.
Yeah.
Vincent goes on about the Etruscans.
So, basically, Rome has laws.
Does that make your lawyer heart very happy?
Yes.
Good. We're going to skip the rules, by the way, that Dionysius of Halicarnassus goes into detail discussing.
That's such a shame. So, Rome now also has a senate and 100 heads of family who were called conscript fathers and were given the rank of patricians.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're part of the senate.
Yes. And patricians come from patres, or fathers.
Yes, that makes sense. Romulus picked one of these men himself based on the best military leader. The tribes picked 3 each to form 9 in total, and the curiae, or groups of Roman citizens, picked the remaining 90.
Kind of democratic. That surprises me.
Etropius says the 100 people selected as senators were the oldest.
Alright.
They were put in charge of the common people, or the plebeians, which is apparently a tradition going back to ancient Athens and Thessaly over in Greece.
Alright, so Rome has laws and it has a senate.
Yes, it also has a population, which is growing.
Ooh.
Romulus is throwing open the gates to anyone who needs asylum to join the community.
Nice.
So, well, lots of people like thieves, slaves, and like the underbelly of society head to Rome to make a new life.
Okay, good.
I'm guessing also, normal people come.
Well, as we kind of touched on last time, it's mostly the people who need political asylum in the first place, which you don't need if you're Marcus the farmer just farming corn.
In any case, there is a problem.
There is?
Rome has enough people to take on their neighbours, but they would die out in a generation.
Right.
Why? Because there are no women.
Oh. Yeah, that will do it.
So Romulus sent out envoys as the Senate advised to seek marriages with people from neighbouring states.
I'm guessing they tried to sweeten the deal a bit?
They assured the neighbours that Rome would grow and prosper.
I mean, after all, you wouldn't want to invest in a dud. I mean, Rome's going places. Send over your women.
Well, unfortunately, the envoys fell on deaf ears.
Oh. I mean, that is impressive, given that nearby Alba Longa is being ruled by Romulus's grandfather, who you'd think would have a vested interest in seeing his grandson's city work.
In any case, everyone hated this new city, according to Livy, and they were afraid of this rising power in their midst.
Or, put another way, this colony of criminals.
They were often sent away with the mocking reply that the Romans should just allow female miscreants in as well, so they could get their women that way. I mean, that is a good idea.
That is an idea. I don't think Romulus will be putting that as a plan B, though.
No, that idea clearly riled up the Romans enough that they were ready to fight.
Okay.
Romulus, knowing this would come, hatched a plan.
Ooh.
He hid his anger and sent out words he would be hosting a festival to praise Neptune. No expense was spared for this festival, called the Consulia, and when the big day arrived, intrigued people flocked to the city.
Nice. It's Consualia, by the way.
Good job.
Thank you.
Consualia.
Good.
Among many groups, the Sabines showed up with their families.
Nice.
Now, it is worth noting that there were a lot of Sabines and they liked war, but their cities were not well protected.
Okay.
Keep that kind of thinking in mind for later.
Okay. That doesn't bode well.
These Sabine and allied cities were the ones surrounding Rome. Visitors were given a tour and allowed to stay in Roman houses.
Oh, I can imagine the Airbnb industry went through the roof.
So, the show starts.
Okay.
Focus on the festivities.
Yes, good, I can see them.
Focus on somebody giving a signal.
Nice. Oh, okay. Right, got it.
We don't know what the signal is, so
Okay.
just imagine them raising the middle finger.
Oh, no. I was going to say cartwheeling.
Oh, that's cool.
A lot better, let's do that instead.
When this signal was given, the Roman young men rushed forward and grabbed the young woman in the crowd.
Yeah. Oh. Oh no. I don't think that's part of it.
Most of these girls were allocated to whichever Roman lad seized them first.
Yeah, it's a classic love story.
Yeah. However, a few of them were earmarked for Roman senators. Yes, a few of them.
I didn't mean to put 2 Fs.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
He spelled that wrong. He spelled that wrong.
There is a story, by the way, where a woman was reserved for a man called Thalassius.
Okay,
His henchmen grabbed her and shouted his name as they ran off with her.
right.
Apparently, this custom still carried on at a wedding in Livy's day.
Gross. Also, why are you doing a posh British accent?
I'm not doing anything. This is just my voice.
Is this your Sabine accent?
Fairly obviously, the festival ended in a panic.
It would do.
Do I really sound British?
You sound like you're trying to do an accent.
Oh.
What do you do? It's your British accent.
Fairly obviously, the festival ended in panic. The date of the rape of the Sabines was the 18th of Sextilis, or, August.
Yeah. By the way, we should say that is what the event is known as. It's called the Rape of the Sabines.
Now, the parents of these women escaped, muttering darkly about the treachery of the Romans and praying to Neptune.
Yeah.
I can tell you the women themselves weren't enjoying this either.
They weren't. No.
Romulus tried to reassure them.
Yep.
He accused the girls' parents of being at fault. If only they'd not been too proud to allow them to marry Romans.
Oh boy, someone went to the Apollo school of winning an argument, didn't they? Ugh. I mean, note that some of these women already had children, as far as I can tell.
Right.
So they have just been kidnapped wholesale from their lives and forced into new ones.
Now, they would, as married wives, share in Rome's fortune.
Yay!
They would also be united to their husband by children, the most dear gift of them all.
Yay.
I mean, having a child myself, I can tell you having a child is quite a gift.
You did not just
For me.
You did not just pull an as a mother on the podcast. It is, but it's a very different set of circumstances.
Yes, it is.
Like, I know you don't remember our first date when I stole you from the middle of a festival, but...
Anyway, he exhorted them to forget their anger and, quote, give their hearts to those whom chance had given their bodies. End quote.
Oh.
Anyway. Their husbands would also be kind to them and try to make up for their stolen families. The men claimed that love had made them do what they did.
Yeah, love. That's what that feeling was.
Apparently, somehow, the women lost their anger with time.
Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome works wonders that way.
It does, doesn't it? However, once they were adjusted, their parents and families took up arms against Rome to get them back.
Okay.
Titus Tatius of the Sabines is the principal antagonist later on, but there were some towns who fought early and were driven off by Romulus piecemeal. Canina attacked the Capitol Hill first. Romulus cut down Acron, the leader of this early force, and wanting approval and praise, he looted the body and offered it to Jupiter.
He's coming off so well in this episode.
Romulus defeated the people from the town of Antemnae and graciously invited the family of his wife Asila to live in Rome as an apology after he beat them, which was accepted.
Well, if you're Hercilia's family, you would, after you've just seen that.
Romulus then fought against the people of Crustumum, and they were scattered, already disheartened by the defeat of two nearby cities.
And also the fact they had to live somewhere called Crostumium, I imagine.
The name made me laugh too.
Yeah.
The Romans sent people out to colonize those two cities we've mentioned, while a lot of relations of the Roman wives moved into Rome.
Okay.
Now, the final attackers are the Sabines themselves.
They're back.
Yes, this fight was a lot harder than the previous three. Now, we need to introduce someone.
Okay.
Tell us who.
Well, this is Spurius Tarpeius, the man in charge of guarding the Roman citadel. He had a daughter who was still young, and she'd gone beyond the walls to get water for a sacrifice, as we've seen before with Rhea Ilia. Dio says this girl was called Tarpeia. Can you see her beyond the walls having a great time?
Mm-hmm.
She was captured and brought to Titus Tatius, ruler of the Sabines, and was there convinced to let the Sabines into the citadel. The girl was bribed by King Tatius to allow a few soldiers into the citadel. The men were let in, and then killed her by crushing her with their shields. They wanted either to make it look like they'd fought to win the citadel, or else wanted to punish her as a traitor. She might have also naively said that she wanted what the soldiers wore on their shield arms as a reward. She meant the jewellery they wore there, but the Sabines kept their word in a very legalistic, technical kind of way. Tarpeia may have even died buried in a heap of gold in the Sabine camp. Alternatively, she may have tried to confiscate their shields and the Sabines attacked her. Plutarch supports the gold bracelet theory, and then her being crushed by the shields and bracelet. The point is, Tarpeia is very dead, however it happened. The hill where Tarpeia was buried was named after her until King Tarquin rededicated it to Jupiter. Her bones were moved, and eventually only something called the Tarpeian Rock was named after her. This won't mean anything to you right now, but trust me, the Tarpeian Rock is going to come back in future centuries.
Well, in any case, she's dead.
Yes, and the Sabines now held the citadel.
Exactly. The following morning, the Romans, now holding the land between the Palatine and Capitoline hills, attacked. The first fighters were champions, Metius Curtius the Sabine and Ostius Hostilius for the Roman. Ostius was killed, and the Romans fell back to the Palatine gate. Romulus, being pushed along by the fleeing army, prayed to Jupiter to stop the Romans retreating by giving them courage. This was granted and the Romans surged back. Metius, for his part, led the Sabines down the hill. I am not sorry for all you're gonna have to edit of me messing with words.
Yeah, play the clip again.
Metius, for his part, led the Sabines down the hill. See, this is the bad idea. keep the high ground.
Yeah, don't
As you never cease to tell me when we watch movies.
In every single movie, they run down the hill. Keep the high ground, let them run at you and get tired. I'm looking at you, Narnia movies. And
Lord of the Ring.
Yeah, and basically every movie where they charge down a hill.
Still, it worked.
As it does in every movie.
Well, of course. And they were about to reach the Palatine Gate and defeat the Romans. Curtius exhorted his men on but was attacked by Romulus himself and chased away. He was on a horse, and this horse became scared of the sound of the men chasing Curtius. It rushed into a nearby swamp.
Well, it would do. What else do you do when you're frightened? You run to a swamp.
The Sabines were momentarily stunned, but Curtius managed to get back to shore, so the fight continued in the valley between hills. Now the Romans were winning.
Ooh.
At this point, the Sabine women acted. The women were on the Palatine Hill watching. Their natural timidity went away apparently, and they rushed into battle with loose hair and torn clothes.
By the way, the natural timidity thing is a direct quote.
Okay. So you put that there for fun.
No, that's just to highlight the attitude towards women in the ancient sources again.
They pushed between the two armies. They besieged both sides not to kill each other. They now had families, sons of one side and grandsons of the other.
Oh, they've already had kids.
Well, it's probably been like a few months. If the marriages were hated, the families should attack them, not their Roman husbands.
What?
They would rather die than either lose husbands or parents.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Of course.
We were kidnapped, it's our fault, please kill us if you're angry. What?
After their speech, they bore their breasts and stomachs to their sword. Some pushed the men's sword against them and put their kids up against them.
Oh.
The men began crying at the spectacle.
Yeah.
Man up!
You know, that's actually... Brief tangent here based on only what I remember. In earlier centuries, up until fairly recently, it was actually seen as quite manly to cry at the appropriate time, so I think there might actually be a reference to Napoleon Bonaparte bursting out into tears, and it wouldn't have been seen as odd.
Okay.
Just social standards are different nowadays. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with men crying, I'm just saying that it wouldn't have been seen in the same light then as it is now.
Now, this player...
This plea.
Okay, that's one of the words I've never said out loud in my life.
Yes, this player.
This plea... That sounds wrong. This plea...
I'm leaving all of this in, by the way.
No,
I've had to do enough editing as it is.
No, you're not. This plea somehow worked, and after a silent moment, the leaders of both sides agreed a peace. The area... See, it's area, not airy.
I don't know what to tell you. That your countrymen came over and messed with our language. I don't know where plea comes from. Or area. I suspect one of them's Latin and the other's Anglo-Saxon. It's just how these things work.
Anyway, the area where the truce was agreed is called... You really don't like how to write the. It's called the comitium, from the verb corre, meaning to meet.
Nice. Basically...
Yeah, for info, he wrote E-T-H-E and later he wrote H-T-E.
He spelled that wrong. He spelled that wrong.
You want me to edit out your nonsense earlier, but that's staying in, is it?
Yes.
I will not be doing that. I
Yes, you
rebel.
will.
I refuse.
I'll put it on myself. Not only that, but the Sabines actually joined the Romans.
Okay.
They had one government and Rome was the capital. So, Rome doubled in numbers!
Yay! I'm so happy that's how this worked out.
The Romans would call themselves Quirites as a concession to the Sabines. Sabines.
Sabines.
Yes. This was in honor of their town of Cures.
Okay.
The area where Curtius had fallen into the swamp was renamed Curtius Lake, and Romulus gave the name of the woman who had acted to 30 districts which were created to separate the populace into.
See, it sounds like an honour to have the Romans rename themselves after a Sabine town and Curtius's lake, but isn't that essentially just calling it, hey, remember where his horse threw him in a lake? That was really funny, lake.
I used the word populace when we were walking in earlier, and you told me I was posh, and there you are.
I think it was because the source used population. I can't remember.
Anyway, there were also 3 new centuries of knights or equestrians: Ramnesses after Romulus, Titenses over Titus Tatius, and the Luceres.
I really don't like spelling the word the. It's happened again.
I like that we then say we don't know where this name came from, but we just explain where it came from.
Well, it's a possible thing.
And yes, you really don't like writing the word the.
Yeah, anyway, the Luceres may be named after the word Lucumon. My French language version of Sextus Aurelius Victor is uncertain, but there's an Etruscan word for king that's Lucumo, so that might be it. Anyway, 3 new centuries.
Yes. Either way, Titus Tatius and Romulus ruled jointly and the war ended. Tatius lived where the Temple of Meta was, and Romulus lived near where the Palatine Hall goes down to the Circus Maximus.
Now, I'm fairly certain that this isn't a temple to a social media company. But I have nothing proving that.
100 senators were added from Sabine territory, and the army also swelled and divided into their 3 groups.
Okay, so we now have 200 senators.
Yeah. The Sabines took the Roman months.
Yeah. Now, I can't find a proper date for when all of this is supposed to have happened. However, Wikipedia dates Romulus's triumph for both of his first victories in the war after the rape of the Sabine women to 752 BCE. So this either happens in August of 753 or 752, that is, the abduction of these women. You get to pick which seems more likely, obviously, but I would imagine, given the time constraints, that it's 753.
I'm picking 752.
Okay. Well, it either happens 4 months after Rome is founded, or a year and 4 months.
I'm picking 752, just to contradict you.
Alright, perfect. I have nothing to say that you're wrong.
And on that note, this brings us to the end of our episode, and we'll see you next time, everyone. Have a great week, or, decades, or whatever. Have a great time.
Thank you for listening, and have a great millennium, everyone.
Oh, yes, that's cool.